Good morning, everyone. We're going to give just a second for everyone to come on in. I feel like I need to readjust myself here a bit. I'm sure I can. All right. Give me one moment. I have Facebook messages popping up and it's blocking where the comments would be and all that kind of good stuff. Y'all, can I just tell you how excited I will be when I have the space and the room and the technology equipment needed to truly just keep this set up all the time. I don't know if y'all know this, but every single morning I have to reset up my desk, my lights, my laptop, my cell phone, and all of that. And so, yeah, I feel like I would just love it to be where I just come sit down and y'all, let's get started. You know what I mean? So I just tell you, I long for the day when I have that. But until then, you will probably keep dealing with me somehow always being a couple minutes late. And I apologize for that. It is what it is. I make no excuses. I had plenty of time this morning, but I always fail to realize how long it's going to take me to get everything set up. You would think by now I'd know, right? Okay. So anyway, so today is our Wisdom Wednesday, and I am looking for some notes from last night's training in Wilmington, because I'm telling you, for those of you who were not there, you missed out. You missed out. And that does bring me to my first point, which is, I don't care how long you have been in this business, or how new you are in this business, or how many shows you have done or have not done. I don't care. There is no excuse. Go to trainings. Seriously, go to trainings, because I'm telling you, you will be renewed. You will be re-energized. You will get new ideas and everything else. So do not skip trainings. Listen, I hate to say, if anyone has an excuse to skip trainings, it would be my husband. Okay? Because let me just real quickly brag on him, and it would drive him nuts if he knew I was doing this. But he gets up at 2:30. Yes, that's 2:30 a.m. every day to drive 2.5 hours away from home to go do his 8 hours at work, sometimes a little bit longer. Yesterday was a little bit longer. And then he still has his 2.5 hour drive home. And then he gets home, and I'm not even kidding you. Like, he walked in the door at 5:30. By 5:50, he had had a shower, and we were walking back out the door so we could drive a little over an hour north to go to Wilmington, to go to training. And he never once complained. And he even told me, he says, well, you know, it's up to you. We'd probably have to grab something on the way. It's up to you whether or not we go. And I'm like, no, it's not up to me. It's up to you. You're the one who has to deal with this, like, getting up so early and, you know, knowing that the training goes from 7 to 9, y'all. So that means that we're not going to be home until after 10. And then he's got to turn around and get up at 2:30 in the morning. And he's going, no, babe, it's up to you. Like, if you want to go, we'll go. And I'm like, no, it's up to you. And we keep doing this back and forth. And he's like, well, I just really think it would be good for us to go. And I said, well, I appreciate that, and I would love to go. So if you're up for it, let's go, right? And look who pops on, Mr. David Hood. You're supposed to be working, my dear. Are you on break? It better be that you're on break. So yeah, so we drove up there last night. We did we went, we attended training, and I'm telling you, there were a lot of great ideas there. And it was energizing. Even though both of us were exhausted, it was energizing. So here's the thing. Don't get into the mindset of, I don't really think I need to go to training. I don't think I need to do that. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. It's kind of like we talked the other day about, and this might have been a week or two ago, we talked about how, Gary Googe said his dentist had a sign up that said you only have to floss the teeth that you want to keep. Well, you only have to attend training if you want to make your business work. If you want to be successful, you have to go to training. Have to. Anita, look, this is who we got to train with last night. I'm so excited you jumped on. Love that. So you'll notice that's why I didn't respond back to your message yet. It literally came through right as I was going live. So I just want to share just real quick. Okay, first off, I don't care what your excuses are for not wanting to go to training. Get that out of your head. It is stinking thinking. It is the devil trying to prevent you from going, being energized and being blessed and getting some great new ideas and all of that. So when you're having that stinking thinking, listen, get rid of it. Get rid of it and go. Don't allow yourself excuses to miss training. It is too important if you want to have a successful business. So one of the quotes, and let me see if I can find it. And Anita, if I butcher it, I apologize. If I butcher it, I apologize. But it was something along the line of, and I know I wrote it down, I just can't find it in all of these wonderful notes. But successful people are not successful. Here it is. People who are successful did not get there by accident. They got there through diligence of working their business. And that includes going to trainings. Do you know? All right. And I loved that Anita threw this in there last night. She was talking about the difference between building versus maintaining. And would you believe that business building activities are the things that will build your business? Okay. Sounds pretty like across the board, like self-explanatory, right? Okay, and business maintaining will simply maintain the business that you currently have. Do you know that training is considered to be a business building activity, not simply a maintaining activity? It is a business building activity, which means that comes before sitting at home and filing. That comes before, sitting at home and posting something on Facebook. Does that make sense? I pray that makes sense to y'all, okay? Because business maintaining, those things can be done anytime. Email can be checked anytime, okay? Text can be responded to anytime. Now, of course, you want to do so in a timely manner, okay? But those things can be done anytime. Business building, which is opportunities to show your jewelry, training, phone calls to get more opportunities to show your jewelry, and things like that. Those are all business building. If you're not doing the business building, you're going to be stuck simply maintaining, if not dropping in your business. Okay? So those of you who think you don't have to go to training, I'm sorry, but even though Premier does not make trainings mandatory, I want you to hear this. Even though Premier does not make trainings mandatory, if you want a successful business, they are not optional. Okay? While they are not mandatory, they are not optional. I pray that makes sense to y'all, and I hope that you understand where I'm coming from with that, because it is so stinking vital and so important to your business. And if you are not attending trainings, you are missing some huge opportunities. Huge opportunities. Okay? All right. So real quick, got it, Anita. They might not be mandatory, but they're also not optional. Just saying. All right. So, and here's why. Okay. I want to just real quick touch on some of the things. And listen, I could have done this last night when Diane was throwing around tickets for like anyone who had something to share about like what they heard tonight and everything else. I could have done that last night and got extra tickets and all that, but I need time to process. Okay. I need some time to really process and think about things. So I want to touch on some of the things that were shared last night that truly just really were kind of like aha moments for me. Okay. Where I just kind of heard it and went, well, I knew that, but I haven't really looked at it that way. Okay. Do y'all ever get that when you're like hearing something and you feel like you've heard it 50 times, but suddenly all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, yeah, I didn't really quite realize how I could use that to my advantage. Okay. So here's what I want you to think about. Some of the things that really kind of were brought to light for me last night was, for one, if you are not advertising your catalog as being an interactive catalog, you're missing the boat. And y'all, I realized that when she said this last night, I'm going, I always say, like, and I'm telling you, I say it so much that like my phone has suggestions to finish my sentence all the time. So it's going to have to learn a new string of words for me to be able to plug in there, because what always does is free to browse our catalog at, and it has the link, and then it says in contact questions or to place an order, which is great. But I'm missing the word interactive. I'm missing sharing the fact that these ladies from their phone or from their computer, when they are viewing our catalogs, those catalogs are interactive. And it's such a cool feature to me, yet it's almost like I've totally forgotten it's there. Okay? So that's one of the reasons why going to training is so stinking important. We become, I hate to say, we get to a point where we're so accustomed to something, it's almost like the furniture in our house. Does this make sense? It's almost like the furniture in our house where it's like, it's there and you're so accustomed to it being there that you don't even quite notice it anymore. It's kind of like, it's just there and you pass by it every day, but you don't really pay attention to it. Okay. I have not been paying attention to the fact that our catalog is interactive, and that is so freaking cool. And we're not utilizing it the way that we probably could. Okay. And by we, I mean me and David. I don't know what you guys are doing. If you guys have already been doing that, woo, kudos to you. Okay. But me personally, I have not been utilizing that. And I know David hasn't been utilizing that because we forget about it. We forget about it. Okay. So going to trainings, you're going to hear about things like that. And it's going to reignite a fire in you where you're like, oh my word, now I got to go home and change some of my cinch share posts that are going to be posting in my upcoming Facebook shows, because I'm like, I need to make sure people know about this. So I got to make sure to put that in there. Okay. I did love the fact that Anita touched on, be sure that your profile picture is of you. Y'all, what did we talk about yesterday? What did we talk about yesterday? That just happened to be one of the tips. Did it not? And these were all her tactical, practical tips. Okay. Another one was check your voicemail message. Call yourself and let it go to voicemail and find out what it is that people are hearing from you. Okay. Do you sound happy? Do you acknowledge yourself as being a jewelry lady or a accessory stylist or whatever y'all are calling yourselves these days? Okay. I still stick with jewelry lady just because I think it has a cute ring to it. So I stick with that. But yes, so, call yourself. See what that voicemail sounds like. Would you want to leave a message with you? We've had the conversations in here before of, would you want to work with you? Okay, well, would you want to leave a message for this person? would you feel like that person is going to even be able to hear your message based on the example that Anita gave us last night of, does your voicemail have like a car honking in the background, kids screaming or crying at the top of their lungs, and a dog barking and this and that? So you want to give a listen and see what they're listening to. Also, another one that, again, it's kind of like our furniture. We just tend to, we know it's there and we don't even really pay attention to it. On your website, are you truly utilizing the announcement section of your page? And are you updating it often? Or are you still having in your announcements that the holiday collection is out? Like, these are things that we do and then we walk away from and we forget it. And they're things that do need our attention on a regular basis. With anything, you must be consistent. All right? You absolutely must be consistent. So in terms of anything that you're doing in your business, whether it is your number of shows, whether it is phone calls that you're making, whether it is telling somebody, hey, I'm going to do this, but do you do it when you say you're going to? Okay. It's also a matter of being consistent in terms of the amount of interaction that you're having with people on your social media. Doesn't mean you have to do it every day. Doesn't mean that you have to do it 17,000 times a day. It might just mean that you need to do it at least 3 times a week, and that people can kind of come to expect when that's going to happen. Okay, so let me just give you an example of this. All right, I have been doing Periscopes for a year now. Okay, and now I'm kind of getting away from Periscope because it's been messing me up. It's been falling off, like dropping the broadcast and shutting down on me and everything. I don't know what's going on with it, so I need to figure out what's happening there before I go back to that. But apparently I have been so consistent with my Periscopes, even being just a couple minutes late every once in a while, that I will literally receive about 10 messages every time that I'm not live by 9:30, on a Monday through Friday. And it's so funny because a lot of times it's where I go, okay, well, they must not have watched Friday Scope because I told them on Friday that I wouldn't be here Monday and Tuesday. But I'm consistent even if they're not. Does that make sense? So even if they're not coming around to watch it all the time, I'm consistent enough that when they come to watch me and I'm not there, they're like, hey, where's Buffy? Where's Buffy? Let me send her a message, make sure everything's okay. So you want to have that kind of consistency. And y'all, I am not saying that I am the queen of consistency. Lord knows I am not. I'm just saying, keeping it real, okay? But you want to utilize all those different things. But ladies, here's what I want to remind you of, okay? Here was, let me add, here was a couple other things that Anita brought up that I don't know that I would have been paying attention to or would know or anything else if I would have been there. Good morning, Myra. So here are some other things she touched on. When it comes to your Facebook post, okay, 80% of your post should be non-selling and 20% should be some sort of call to action. So whether it's a sale, whether it's a, hey, come check out our interactive catalog or whatever, okay? But 20% should be some sort of call to action that gives them an opportunity to do business with you, while the other 80% should be non-selling. So that should be just fashion tips or combos or things like that. And I had always heard, that obviously you want to make sure that your ratio of non-selling is higher than but I hadn't ever heard it broke down into percentages. Also, she also gave this amazing, and Anita, this was probably one of my most favorite, and yet it's the simplest, and I have to figure out how I can do it now that I have all these people on my friend list. But she had suggested that when you friend request your hostesses and or customers, or when they send you a friend request and you accept it, to automatically put them into a group. And I'm not talking a group like you create a a group and it kind of looks like an event, or I'm not talking about that kind of group. It's a category. Okay, so you place them into a category of, these are my hostesses, these are my customers, these are my current jewelers, these are my former jewelers, these are my co-workers. Okay, so there are little categories that you can add these people to. And then when you make a post on your regular page, you can select who is seeing those. You can select what category of people you want to see those posts. So if, as an example, let's say you have some family members that are not too keen on seeing all your premiere stuff, and they just don't want to see it all the time, and they're just tired of it, okay, maybe you don't want to unfriend them because they are your family. Okay, but maybe instead you want to include them in a category of people who are not interested in premiere. Then when you're going to share anything in your post, anything in your like on your timeline, okay, when you're going to create something, then you can choose to share with all except this category of people. Okay, or you can choose to only share with this category of people. So use those categories, okay? Make sure that and I think that's what I need to call them so that I don't get myself confused, is instead of calling them groups, I need to call them categories. So your friend categories, okay? Another one that she touched on very quickly was liking and commenting often on Facebook feeds, okay? And we've talked about this before, because listen, unless I don't know whether or not you can do that in your private groups or not. I got to be honest, because I haven't been utilizing that. So I honestly don't know. Anita, do you happen to know, is it only for the timeline, or can you utilize that in your private groups as well? But here's the thing, in your private groups, it should really only be people who are opting in to see stuff about your business anyway. So there really shouldn't be anybody that you need to hide post from. Does that make sense? Like you should, just my thoughts. Okay. But we've talked about this before, about the like and commenting, and even messaging on occasion, because if you do not do this, Facebook algorithms will knock those people off of your newsfeed and will knock you off of theirs. So when you have, I don't even know what number of friends I have on there. I want to say it's like 2,600. When you have 2,600 friends on your Facebook and you feel like only 10 people are seeing it, that might be because you have now found that you have only been interacting with those 10 people on a regular basis. And because those are the only ones that interact with you on a regular basis, that's all you're seeing in your newsfeed. And those are the only people who are seeing you. Also, when you're posting your different things on your timeline and that kind of stuff, I've shared this before, when you're posting those things on your timeline, all right, know and understand that if people are not, post in a group, go to the whole group. That's what I thought. Okay, so when you're posting things on your timeline, you also want to understand that whether it's on your timeline or whether it's on your business page or whatever, Facebook will show that in just a very small fraction of people. So I'm not going to, don't judge by these numbers because they're not true numbers, but it's just to give an example. Okay. So let's say you have 100 friends and you post something. Okay. They will show it on maybe 3 different people's news feeds. If those 3 people do not interact with your post in some way, shape, or form, then they will just totally knock it out. Okay, they will just knock it out and they won't show it on anybody else's newsfeed. So those other 97 people never even had an opportunity to see it because the first 3 people didn't like, comment, or share it. Okay, so it works off those algorithms that it's kind of like if people don't do anything with it when they show it to the first couple of people, they basically toss it out of the newsfeed like it's garbage. Nobody wants to see this. Okay, if there is interaction, they'll show it to a couple more people. And if there's more interaction, they'll show it to a couple more people. And more interaction, they'll show it to a couple more people. All right. So jewelers, if you have other jewelers on your Facebook, listen, be kind to them. And when you see them posting something, give it a like, or as Anita said, it doesn't cost you any more to go over and click the love button instead. Okay. Because here's the thing. As you do that, that is giving them more visibility with their own news feed, okay, and with their own friends. Siobhan, thank you so much for that, honey. Thank you for that. You're so sweet. Okay, so, but here's the thing. If we hadn't gone to that training last night, oh wait, I got one more. I got one more. See, this is why, Anita, this is why I didn't share everything that I liked from last night, because I would have had to choose, and Diane would have been sitting there like throwing tickets at me all night, and that wouldn't have been very fair to anybody else. So the other thing that I loved was, okay, y'all know that I do the sample sales. Okay, I do sample sales, I do sample auctions, all that kind of good stuff. But she put a new spin on it that I hadn't previously thought of, and I went, oh, she is so smart. She is so smart. And I know she'll say, no, she's just been doing it longer and have been doing it more often or whatever. No, you're smart. You're a smart cookie. So whether you got it from somebody else or not, it doesn't matter, because then you're a smart cookie for hanging out with other smart cookies. Okay, so, but here's what she shared. What she does is she puts kind of like a blast out on her, on her Facebook that basically says, hey, I'm getting ready to do a sample. If you'd like to be included, comment here, let me know. Okay. And Anita, look, that's good though. That's good. That means you're smart, because you're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You're doing what already works, right? All right. So, so you get people interested in joining in that group. Okay, so basically what you're going to do is you're going to create a closed group, and you're going to invite people to come request to join. So they'll click on the link, and then they'll have to request to join, because it'll be a closed group that they won't be able to see anything until you approve them. Okay, everybody following me so far? So you create the group. You then post all your images along with all of your prices. And then once you go and approve at the designated time, so maybe you say, ladies, I'm going to be starting a sample sale this Thursday at 6 o'clock, and it's going to run for 48 hours. Click this link and request to join if you would like to be a part of that group. Okay. So they would go and they would start requesting to join. But as you all know, just like with the Buffy's Toolbox group, okay, you kind of went into this holding pattern of just sitting there in the pending members. All right, you just kind of sat there in the pending members until I clicked approve. And when I clicked approve, then you were able to see everything that's posted. Excuse me. It would work the exact same way with this sample sale. So on Thursday at 6 o'clock, you would then go through and click approve, 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 all the way down the list. All right. Or if I'm not mistaken, there might even be a little button that says approve all. I'm not 100% sure, but there might be. So you could do that. And basically, like the pinned post at the top would say first person to say sold under the item gets it. Okay. So it's kind of like you think about like the Black Friday shopping. They have the doors closed. Everybody waits in line. You're waiting in line. You don't know half the stuff that's in there until they open the doors, and you're just waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting, and they open the doors, and it's like everybody runs to go get in. Okay. It's kind of that same mentality, but you're doing it with a closed group on Facebook. How stinking smart. Okay. So smart. So smart. So here's my thing. You have to go to trainings. This is not a either or. This is you have to go to trainings, because listen, I feel like I am someone who is experienced in many of those things, but I didn't quite see the spin that it could have on them until last night. And y'all, like, I'm not new to Premiere. I mean, we're getting ready to celebrate years. So, I'm not new to Premiere. This isn't like new information to me. But at the same time, it was kind of like how to look at the tools that we have and be able to figure out the best way to utilize them. You go to trainings and you find that out. Okay? Like that's how you learn. All right? So here's my thing. You do not get a diploma by not going through some schooling and learning some things. You do not get a degree by not going to class or not, cracking open those books and learning some things to be able to get that degree. All right? You don't get to do those things. Let me ask you, would you go to a doctor who says, well, I don't have my degree because I didn't really go to class or things like that, but I heard that this is how you do this procedure, and I'm really confident that I know what I'm doing. Y'all, would you not run? I mean, for real, would you not run out of that office? Like, there is no stinking way. When you're going to a doctor, what do you want to know? Like, you want to know, like, how many years has he been in practice? Does he have any malpractice suits against him? Has he done this procedure? If so, how many times? Okay. Think about it in that sense. When it comes to your business, how can you possibly know what you're doing just through hearsay? Just because I kind of heard that this is what I could do. I heard from another consultant who's with a different company that this is what can be done. Not to say that you can't get good ideas that way, but listen, it comes through going and getting the proper training and understanding the tools that Premiere has for us. Does that make sense to y'all? I pray it does. And I pray that you understand where my heart is coming from in the sense of, again, while trainings are not mandatory, if you want your business to continue, if you want your business to succeed, if you want your business to be here next year and in a better place next year than what it is currently, you have to go to trainings. And it shouldn't even be a matter of have to. It should be a matter of you get to. You get to go to training and you get to be a part of this fabulous family that shares literally everything. Okay? So take that mentality of, well, I have to go to training. Buffy says I have to go to training. Shush. You get to go to training. Like, be excited about that. Be excited about going and bettering yourself and bettering your business. But ladies, listen, not just go to training and not do anything with it. Do you feel me? Okay. Do not go to training and then come home and change nothing. Doesn't mean you change everything. Okay. Don't overwhelm yourself by coming home and changing everything. All right. But pick one or two things that you can implement into your business right away. Okay. So do not ever miss trainings. Do not miss trainings. Don't miss them for shows. Don't miss them because you were just feeling lazy and wanted to stay in your PJs all day, or don't miss them because, oh, there's something good on TV, or don't miss them because, or listen, if you are missing trainings because of that, please forgive me when I say this, but it's kind of one of those sorry, not sorry moments. If you are using those kind of excuses to not go to training, your business is what it is, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because of what you're choosing to do with it or what you're choosing to not do with it. I'm just saying. You have nobody to blame but yourself if you are not going to trainings and you're not learning how to do this business and you are not mastering the things that you're learning by implementing them in your business. Just saying. Okay. That's what I have for y'all. I believe I kept you past time. I did. I'm so sorry. Angela, you do. Listen, Angela is one of my girls, and I got to tell you, She misses no opportunity to train. None. And she is so stinking cute. She has made comments on Tanya where they're like, because they live in Pennsylvania, I live in Delaware. So every time that I'm up there, if I call them up and say, hey girl, I'm in town and I want to get together with you for a little bit of training, I have no doubt these two ladies would do everything they could to make sure that they could be there. Like, they will move mountains to make sure that they can attend these trainings. And I love that because they are just like little sponges that just want to absorb everything. Okay. So I love that. Love that. Okay. And I'm telling you, you want to make your upline feel amazing, go to their trainings and be excited to be there. All right. They will love you for it. They already love you. We can't help but love you, but they will love you so much for it. All right. So I'm going to let you guys go, but tomorrow is our Truth Be Told Thursday. So tomorrow is where you have an opportunity to come in and ask me questions kind of about who, what, where, when, how, why of what I do in my business, in hopes that probably help you in some way in yours. And I'm sorry, it looks like my Facebook feed is getting a little glitchy. I don't know if it's just on my end or if it's the feed in general, but so tomorrow you get to come ask those questions, and I'm going to have some sort of little confessional type thing for you. As always, Angela, you are so very welcome. Look, I love loving on my girls. I love loving on my Premier family. I love serving my Premier family. That is immediate and extended. Okay. I love being able to be a part of this big, huge company of just nothing but family. So yeah. So I will be here tomorrow for that. My pleasure, Anita. Thank you so much for being here. And again, it was so fun with you. Be able to hear from you last night, and I look forward to working with you in the future on some different things. So I'm looking forward to checking out that email you sent me. So just come join me tomorrow. 9-ish. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.